Okay, introducing a new topic here with you guys. It's called linear equations. You'll see this a lot next year, and it's basically finding the linear equation of a line and finding some information about how this line can represent data. We'll associate some word problems with this, but first we need to understand the pieces of this equation. So usually in a linear equation, you have x and y variables. So, and we use these x and y variables and we use them to draw a graph. And we did this earlier in the year. So I'll give you equations like this: y equals 2x plus 4. And I'll have x, y values here. And what we'll do is we'll pick some numbers here for x and we'll find the corresponding values for y for this particular equation. And then we'll graph it. So here's my equation, and I've just picked three numbers, and I'm going to plug these values in for x and get the value for y. So here's my first one, negative 4. So y equals 2x plus 4. In this case, our x is negative 4. And if I multiply these out, 2 times negative 4, we have one positive and a negative. When I multiply them, my answer is negative. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 4 is going to be negative 4. So when I solve this, y is going to be negative 4. So when x is negative 4, y is going to be also negative 4. In this next equation, again, y equals 2x plus 4. I put the negative 2 in here for x. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So when I solve this, the negative 2 for negative 2, the y is 0. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And then the last one here, again, y equals 2x plus 4. In this case, my x is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. So when x equals 2, y is going to equal 8. So there's 3 points that I can graph. And if I remember what we did here, I'm going to show you this. So we look at the graph and I put here negative 4, negative 4. It's this point here. Negative 2, 0 is right there. And 2, 8. 2, 8 is up here. And remember that it has to all connect and be a diagonal line. If one of your points kind of is skewed like out here so that your graph is kind of going like this, or it's a straight line, then all of a sudden it fans out and comes back and it's a straight line, then the point that one of those points is off. So it should always form a diagonal line. Now, there's three main things about linear equations they'll always ask you about. The first one is called slope. And slope is going to represent the rate of how this graph grows. And generally, the slope is going to be the coefficient of x. So in our case, y equals 2x plus 4. 2 is what's called the coefficient of x. So in our case, the slope in this equation is 2. So what's my slope? It's 2, or 2 over 1. And again, we'll talk more about this later, but right now just understand the coefficient of x's slope in our particular equation right now it's 2. They'll also ask about what's called the y-intercept and the x-intercept. And this is points where, at what point is our line crossing the x-axis, right here, and then at what point are we crossing the y-axis. So this is our x-intercept, where we cross the x-axis, and where the line here on the y-axis, where we cross the y-axis. So what are these 2 points? And then the way we find these, to find the y-intercept, we set x equal to 0. So if we put it down here, if we put x as our point 0, and in the same way we did y equals 2x plus 4, we're going to say 2 times 0 plus 4. So 2 times 0 is 0 plus 4. So what we're going to come up with is 4. So our y-intercept is going to be 4, or you can say the y-intercept is 0, 4. Either one works, or just 4. That means at 4, at 0, 4, that's where we cross the y-axis. And if you look at our picture and our diagram, that's what shows here. Now the x-intercept is, again, where we cross the x-axis. And here we are going to set y equal to 0 to find it. So here's our equation. 0 equals, instead of y, we put in a 0 here. 0 equals 2x plus 4. So I'm going to put a 0 in here for y. And what we're going to do is we're going to solve for x. So just like on solving other equations, we want to get x by itself. Right now, x is being multiplied by 2, and we have this plus 4 here. So the first thing I'll do is subtract 4 from both sides of the equation. And I'll get here, this is going to be 0. I'll bring down the 2x equals 0 minus 4, again, is negative 4. Then what I'll do is, again, I want to get x alone, so divide both sides by 2. And I'll get x equals negative 4 divided by 2 is going to be negative 2. So my x-intercept is going to be negative 2, or you can just say here negative 2 comma 0. And if we look on our graph, where's the x? Where are we crossing the x-axis? It's at 1, negative 2. Okay, so once again, what we're going to ask you to do is graph the equation, plug in some points, find the values, x and y values, graph the picture, make sure you're getting a diagonal line, but you'll also need to find these three things: slope, y-intercept, and x-intercept. The slope is just going to be this number here, the coefficient of x. Let me bring it down. Right here, the coefficient of x. And always a shortcut to take here, the y-intercept is always going to be this number here. So if it's going to be a 4, or if this was minus 4, it'd be a negative 4. Just remember, the sign always goes with the number. On the sign on the left goes with the number on the right. But the x-intercept, you'll always have to kind of solve for it. So remember, we set the y to 0, and then we solve for x using how we know how to solve equations. Anyways, we'll talk more about this, and we'll see how this is used in real life. But for now, just understand these three terms: slope, y-intercept, x-intercept.